So earlier today, finally, the press was given the police footage of the Paul Pelosi attack. Things have been so scattered and everywhere on this, it's hard to figure out, now that I have seen it, what is the game here? What did this serve? I'm going to start with the NBC News footage of somebody who worked for NBC, I think San Francisco, put this thing together. It was edited by the NBC News team for their morning show, the national morning show. It played once, it was posted, and then it was pulled. And then this reporter hadn't been really seen since. And we've been asking, why is this story so different than the story, apparently, that was coming out from everyone else? Why wouldn't NBC answer any questions on this? If what he said wasn't true, he should be fired, and they should be comfortable saying that. But they didn't. If it was true, we needed to know. That's how you gain trust, being transparent. So let me start, before I show you the Paul Pelosi footage, let me start with NBC, the exact opposite of the story that the Pelosi's and the rest of the media was trying to pitch. Here it is.
Craig, good morning. When officers arrived here at the Pelosi home exactly a week ago today, they initially didn't have any idea exactly what was going on. They knew they had a high priority call on their hand. What was unclear, what was happening inside the property just behind me.
This morning, Paul Pelosi is home, back at the house that became a crime scene a week ago today. NBC News learning new details about the moments police arrived. Sources familiar with what unfolded in the Pelosi residence now revealing when officers responded to the high priority call, they were seemingly unaware they'd been called to the home of the Speaker of the House. After a knock and announce, the front door was opened by Mr. Pelosi. The 82-year-old did not immediately declare an emergency or try to leave his home, but instead began walking several feet back into the foyer toward the assailant and away from police.
Okay,
it's
stop.
Unclear if
That's
the
all you need to hear.
82-year-old...
Now that leads people to believe that there is something going on, that there has to be some other kind of dealing going on. If he walked to the door, answered police, and then didn't try to leave, nor did he alert the police that there was an emergency, instead walked several feet backwards towards the assailant, what's that all about? Okay, that's the NBC report. Now, after months, let's now reveal what the New York Times, Los Angeles Times, and I think the Associated Press sued for the right to see. Here is the actual body cam footage of the police arriving at Nancy and Paul Pelosi's house that night.
Hi, how you doing?
How are you?
What's going on, man?
Everything's good.
Hi. Drop the hammer.
Nope. Hey.
What is going on right
I'm
now?
not getting any answer on calls.
Bro.
Calls in the area that I'm looking at.
I got him, Michael.
Now listen.
Edward 14, Edward 10, back up, code 3.
Code 3 back up at 26.
Give me your hand!
Units code 3.
Give me your hand!
40 Broadway for 14 hours.
Okay, when you're first hearing the end of it, let me start at the end. When you're first hearing the end of it, and you're hearing that growl, you're apt to think, well, I know why Nancy Pelosi had the priest come around the house and exorcise it. Was that the growl of the devil? Was that the growl of a dog? No, that was the assailant, we believe. When you're knocked out cold, it's not uncommon for you to start snoring. That was him snoring. One last comment at the end of it is, poor cops, man. I mean, they always are seeing the butt crack of somebody. Now, let me go back to the beginning. If you watch this, is there any doubt in your mind that Paul Pelosi is in trouble? And everybody who is watching from the other side of the door, and there are lots of police there, that everybody watching knows that he's in trouble. His hand is being held by a guy with a hammer. He comes up to the door. He tries to walk back, but this is obviously some sort of a hostage situation. Let me play this again. Start at the opening of the door, please.
Hi. How you doing?
How are you?
What's going on, man?
Everything's good.
Okay, stop. Now, Paul Pelosi's just taken a step towards the police. There is no backing up yet. And he steps towards the front door. It is so very clear that Paul Pelosi is not going to the door unafraid and on his own volition. He is not standing there holding the guy's hand because they're having a lover's twist. That's not what's going on. He's clearly being held hostage. Now watch again.
Hi. Drop the hammer.
No.
Stop.
Hey.
Stop. You'll see here that this was another one of the controversies. It was said that they were both, first it was they were both in their underwear. Absolutely not true. Then they were both fully dressed. That's not true. The attacker is fully dressed, but Paul Pelosi is either wearing a shirt or a nightshirt and his boxer shorts. He looks like a guy who was woken up in the middle of the night. This again dissolves all of the crazy rumors that, they were having a, sex fest or whatever it was. This obviously appears to be exactly what they said it was. A guy woken up in the middle of the night by another guy who was threatening him, wanted to see Nancy Pelosi and kill her. And when they came to the door, police arrived. I didn't see him not announce that he's an emergency. If you have a dangerous guy right beside you, he steps forward towards the police like, can you see what's going on here? Help. And I haven't seen him back up until next.
What is going on right
I'm
now?
not getting an answer on
There you go. Stop. And he's not walking away from his attacker. Toward his attacker. And that's what NBC News said, that he was backing up towards his attacker. No, he wasn't. He was backing up away from the front door to get away from his attacker. And I don't think I've seen something this brutal in a long time. I did not expect it to be as brutal as it was. Paul Pelosi is lucky to be alive. Now, I don't understand why that wouldn't have been released. It just came out, so some people say it's, there's more questions, like, for instance, he's holding a water bottle, etc. I honestly, I think this is what we thought it was. Do we have the home surveillance yet? We do. Let me show you the breaking into the house. Remember, there are a lot of things that you said, and I said, I haven't seen glass come out of a window unless you're using something like a hammer and you bring it in and then you're kind of doing that with the glass as you're pulling the hammer out. I have not seen this footage, but here's the footage of the surveillance cameras at the house of the assailant breaking in.
We also have our first look at the video on the attack of Paul Pelosi, husband of former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. Look at this. Now, remember, I told you that there were going to be things other than the police body cam that would be released. This is the surveillance video outside the home.
It looks exactly like what he was doing.
Is the suspect, DePapp. And you see him, he put some items down, you see him breaking some glass and the fragments of glass that are breaking now. Emily, talk to me about this as evidence in the case.
That again is exactly what I said. If you just punch through, the glass would be there. But he's punching through, and you can see him pulling on the with the claw of the hammer. You can see him pulling on the edges of the window. All of this makes sense. Why wasn't this released? Now, you could say because it's shocking and horrifying for Nancy Pelosi, and I would agree with that. I wouldn't want to see this either over and over again on TV. But again, we're in a different world. We're in a different world. And it is time our media and everyone else understands your credibility is the most important thing, because you can't help anyone if they think you're part of the problem or just going to pull it away. Here, you want a bite? No, take it. Go ahead. This time I won't pull it away. You have no credibility. And that's what's happening with our institutions. No one has any credibility. Why allow things to go on and ferment? Why do that? When you have such a clear open and shut case like this. If they would have released this within 24 hours, which, you know, they'll release body cam footage of George Floyd immediately. Anything our cops do wrong, immediate release. Why wasn't this released, especially when it could cause such danger and conspiracy theories? I don't know. And I don't know why NBC News allowed that to go from the reporter through the hands of several journalists and several editors. Are they still on payroll? They shouldn't be. That is wildly wrong, their report. But we'll continue to follow this story. Let me tell you quickly about our sponsor. It's My Patriot Supply. We're watching the collapse of our most trusted institutions. Everywhere you look, the wheels are falling off. That's why I urge you to act now and invest in emergency food before it's too late. Trust me, money well spent. You can stretch your dollar when you go to mypatriotsupply.com. Do you know that meat is going to go up? I think it's 15% this year is what they're projecting. 15% additional just for meat. There's going to come a time when it's going to be hard just to buy groceries, let alone have, emergency groceries in case all hell breaks loose. 3-month emergency food kit could save you in the times that may be coming where it's hard to find food, or the times it's hard just to afford food. Make sure you take care of your family. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, drinks, snacks average about 2,000 calories every day per person. Listen, there's not a lot of time to prepare. If you happen to believe the world is going to hell in a handbasket, congratulations, you're awake. Go to mypatriotsupply.com. You'll save $200 on your 3-month emergency food kit. It is now at mypatriotsupply.com. All right. I think we can pretty much skip everything else, because the rest of it is just the usual insanity. So we'll be back to report on that. And hopefully, I talked to you last week about some issues that are happening in my family, and how I know they are happening everywhere in the country. Your family is, your children, all of our children, under attack right now on many different levels. And nobody's really talking about it. Hopefully it will be on Monday. I have a guest coming in sometime next week that is going to be talking about the attack on our family and the mental health of our children and what to do. I am so blessed to be able to have the means and the resources and everything else to get help for my kids. But as I approached these problems, I didn't know where to begin, and all I kept thinking the whole time was honestly about you. If you're struggling with your family, how are you doing it? How are you handling it? You know, if you're worried about putting food on the table and worried about your job, and maybe you're working 2 jobs, my gosh, I can't imagine having these issues. So we're trying to find ways to help you, help your family. And hopefully that'll be on Monday on radio. Don't miss a second. There's a lot going on. Thank you for watching. God bless.